Human, turn around. The alien woman shouted from the forest. Someone took my clothes. Alex had always dreamed of exploring worlds beyond Earth. As a young explorer working with the Interstellar Survey Corps, he had seen many strange and beautiful planets, but none as mysterious as Zarathia. The moment his ship touched down, the air seemed alive with colors and sounds he had never experienced before. The forest that stretched around the landing site glowed with a soft, almost magical light. Trees shimmered in hues of green and blue, and plants swayed without a breeze, as if they had a life of their own. Small, floating creatures darted between the branches, leaving trails of sparkling light in their wake. Alex adjusted his exploration pack and took his first careful steps into the forest. Every sound was amplified: the rustling of leaves, the hum of unknown insects, the distant calls of alien birds. He moved slowly, careful not to disturb anything, knowing that any sudden action could startle the creatures of this alien world. Yet the thrill of discovery pushed him forward, and he felt his heart race with excitement. As he ventured deeper, Alex noticed that the forest seemed to change with every step. The glowing plants became more vibrant, the air grew cooler, and the ground beneath his feet softened. Strange flowers opened and closed as he passed, revealing bright petals that pulsed like tiny lanterns. The forest was beautiful, but it also gave him a sense of unease. There was a feeling that he was not alone, that something or someone was watching him. He paused and scanned the surroundings, but all he saw were the alien trees and plants. Then, without warning, a sharp voice cut through the silence. "Human, turn around." "Someone took my clothes." The words echoed in the glowing forest, startling Alex so much that he almost stumbled. He froze, unsure whether to run or investigate. His curiosity, however, was stronger than his fear. Slowly, he turned toward the direction of the voice. Through the thick trees, he saw her. An alien woman was standing among the ferns, her body slender and tall, her skin shimmering with a soft golden hue that reflected the light of the forest. Her markings glowed faintly, intricate patterns that seemed to shift as she moved. She looked both beautiful and vulnerable. Her hands were raised in frustration, and her eyes, large and expressive, locked onto him. Alex's mind raced. What should I do? But instinct told him to help. He raised his hand slightly to show he meant no harm. I didn't take anything," he said cautiously. "Are you okay? Can I help?" The alien woman's eyes widened, and for a moment she seemed unsure whether to trust him. Then, with a sigh, she nodded. "My name is Lyra. Someone or something took my clothes while I was walking through the forest. I cannot go back like this. Please, can you help me?" Alex nodded. "Of course. Let's see if we can find them." Lyra's face softened with relief. She stepped forward, her movements graceful and precise. As Alex followed, he noticed how she moved in perfect harmony with the forest, almost as if she were part of it. They ventured deeper into the glowing wilderness, the light from the plants guiding their way. Strange sounds surrounded them: chirps, rustles, and distant calls, but Alex focused on the task at hand. He was determined to help Lyra, and curious about the strange creatures that had caused this unusual problem. They soon arrived at a small clearing where the ground was disturbed. Lyra's gaze fell upon a series of footprints that glimmered faintly in the bioluminescent soil. "These are theirs," she said softly. "They are small, quick, and mischievous. They like to steal items that shine or smell interesting." Alex crouched down to examine the tracks. They were unlike any creature he had ever seen, small and padded with tiny claw marks. He traced the trail with his eyes, noting the direction it led. "It looks like they went deeper into the forest," he said. "We'll have to be careful. They may be small, but they're clever." Lyra nodded. "Yes, but I trust you, human. You have the courage and intelligence that my people often find rare." She hesitated, then added, "I hope that you can help not just recover my clothes, but also prevent these creatures from causing more trouble." Alex smiled slightly, feeling a sense of pride. Humanity had always been known for curiosity and problem-solving, and now, on a distant planet, he had the chance to prove it. "We'll do our best," he replied. "Lead the way." As they moved through the forest, Alex noticed how different Lyra's world was. Trees reached impossibly high, their leaves forming translucent canopies that glowed softly. Tiny creatures flitted in and out of view, leaving trails of sparkling light behind them. The forest floor was soft and mossy, with roots twisting like intricate sculptures. Strange flowers opened and closed as they passed, releasing sweet, alien scents. Despite the beauty, Alex remained vigilant. The forest could be dangerous, and he had to protect them both. After some time, they reached a narrow stream. The water glowed faintly, reflecting the bioluminescence around it. Lyra knelt and dipped her hand into the water, her fingers creating ripples that shimmered like liquid light. "They cross here often," she said. "If we follow the water upstream, we may find where they took the clothes." Alex followed her lead, stepping carefully over the roots and rocks. They moved in silence for a while, listening to the forest and watching for any signs of movement. Then suddenly, a rustling sound came from the bushes ahead. Both of them froze. Tiny, agile creatures leapt out, holding a bundle of shimmering cloth. Lyra's eyes widened, and Alex could see the relief on her face. "They have my clothes," she whispered. Alex smiled and moved forward slowly. "We need to be clever about this," he said. He picked up a smooth, flat rock and tossed it lightly near a bush, creating a small noise. The creatures looked up, startled, and dropped the bundle. With quick, careful movements, Alex and Lyra retrieved the clothes. The creatures squeaked in protest but did not attack. Instead, they scurried back into the forest, disappearing from sight. Lyra's face lit up with gratitude. "Thank you, human. You were brave and clever." She took her clothes and held them close, her relief palpable. "I would have been lost without your help." Alex felt a warm sense of satisfaction. Helping someone in need, even on a distant world, was a reward in itself. "It was nothing," he said humbly. "We make a good team." Lyra smiled and nodded. "Yes, we do. You have the qualities my people admire: curiosity, intelligence, and kindness. Perhaps your kind can teach us more than we thought." As they continued through the forest, Alex felt a bond forming between them. He realized that this mission was no longer just about exploration. It was about connection, understanding, and friendship. The forest around them seemed to glow even brighter, as if celebrating the union of two beings from different worlds, working together to overcome a small but meaningful challenge. They walked for hours, talking about their worlds, their experiences, and the mysteries of the forest. Alex shared stories of Earth, of human ingenuity and determination, and Lyra shared tales of her people's connection to the forest and its creatures. Each story deepened their understanding of each other, and Alex felt a growing respect for this alien world and its inhabitants. As night fell, the forest transformed. The bioluminescent plants glowed more intensely, creating a dreamlike landscape. Tiny creatures floated in the air like stars, and the air was filled with a gentle, musical hum. Alex and Lyra found a safe place to rest, a small clearing surrounded by glowing ferns. They set up a temporary camp, using materials from the forest. Alex was amazed at how Lyra's presence seemed to harmonize with the environment. Lyra looked at him thoughtfully. "Human, you are different from what I expected. Your courage is matched by your cleverness. You see solutions where others see problems." Alex smiled. "We humans have to adapt to survive. I guess it comes naturally." Lyra nodded. "Then perhaps your kind can help my people in ways we never imagined. Perhaps together we can protect this forest and its creatures." Alex felt a sense of purpose he had never experienced before. This was more than exploration. It was a chance to make a real difference. And as he looked around at the glowing forest, he knew that the adventure had only just begun. He drifted to sleep under the gentle glow of Zarathia's bioluminescent canopy, feeling a deep connection to the alien world and to the strange, beautiful creature he had helped. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and perhaps new dangers. But Alex was ready. He was human, and humans thrived in the unknown. And somewhere in the forest, Lyra watched over him, grateful for the courage and heart of this human who had walked into her world unafraid, and proved that even across the stars, humanity could shine brightly. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the glowing canopy of Zarathia's forest, painting the clearing in shades of gold and green. Alex woke first, feeling the soft moss beneath him and the gentle warmth of the alien light. He stretched and looked around, noticing Lyra moving gracefully among the glowing ferns, gathering small fruits and leaves. Her movements were precise and calm, as if she had lived in harmony with this forest all her life. Alex rose and approached her cautiously. "Good morning," he said. "Did you sleep well?" Lyra smiled faintly. "I did. The forest is peaceful at night, though one must remain aware. Many creatures are most active when the light is dim." She held out a small fruit, glowing softly. "Eat this. It will give you strength for today." Alex took it, examining the small glowing orb. He had learned from yesterday that everything in this forest seemed alive, even the plants. He hesitated for a moment before tasting it. The fruit was sweet, with a flavor he could not compare to anything on Earth. "This is amazing," he said. "Thank you," Lyra nodded. "We must move quickly. The creatures that took my clothes are not merely mischievous. They are part of a larger problem in the forest. Something has disturbed the balance here, and my people have struggled to contain it." Alex's curiosity piqued. "What kind of problem?" he asked. Lyra's face grew serious. "There is an invasive species in this forest, creatures that consume and scatter resources without purpose. They have multiplied rapidly and are threatening the native wildlife. Yesterday's incident was minor, but it shows how easily the forest can be disrupted. If left unchecked, it could destroy much of what we cherish." Alex felt a surge of determination. "Then we should do something about it. We can't let them ruin this place." Lyra studied him, her glowing eyes reflecting both surprise and admiration. "Your kind is bold. Humans are not often so willing to intervene in matters that do not immediately concern them. Perhaps your people have a strength that even we underestimate." Together, they left the clearing, following the faint tracks of the mischievous creatures. The forest seemed alive with anticipation, as if it knew the two travelers were on a mission. Alex noticed how Lyra moved carefully, stepping lightly and avoiding the delicate undergrowth. He tried to mimic her movements, and though he stumbled occasionally, he began to understand the rhythm of the forest. Hours passed as they followed the trail, winding through dense clusters of glowing trees and across streams that reflected the alien light. Small creatures flitted overhead, curious but cautious, and Alex kept his focus on the ground where the tracks led them. Occasionally, he would stop to examine the signs, using his human intuition to predict the creature's next move. Lyra watched him closely. "You are clever," she said. "You notice patterns we sometimes overlook. Humans have a unique way of thinking that surprises even my people." Alex shrugged, smiling. "We learn by observing and experimenting. It's what keeps us alive, I guess." Eventually, they arrived at a part of the forest that felt different. The air was thicker, the glow of the plants dimmer, and the sounds of wildlife more distant. Alex could feel the tension, a subtle warning that they were approaching something significant. Lyra stopped and gestured for him to be quiet. In the distance, he saw a clearing, and in the center of it were dozens of small, furry creatures, each holding shiny or colorful objects. Among them were fragments of clothing, some of Lyra's belongings, and other items that had been lost or dropped by travelers in the forest. The creatures moved quickly, playing and scrambling without order. "They are multiplying," Lyra whispered. "And their behavior is becoming more destructive. We must act carefully or we risk a larger disaster." Alex studied the creatures. They were clever but not invincible. We can use their habits against them, he said. If we can lure them into a safe enclosure, we can keep them from spreading further. Lyra raised an eyebrow. You would trap them, Alex shook his head. Not trap them permanently, just contain them temporarily. We can move them to another part of the forest, where they won't harm the ecosystem. Lyra considered this, her expression thoughtful. Your ideas are practical and compassionate. I see now why you humans are admired for your problem-solving skills. Very well. Let us try your plan. They spent the next few hours preparing. Alex collected long, flexible vines and twisted them into nets, while Lyra guided him on how to anchor them to the trees without harming the plants. He fashioned simple traps using the glowing fruit as bait, knowing the creatures would be drawn to the light and scent. Lyra added subtle modifications, using her knowledge of the forest to make the traps more effective. As they worked, Alex could feel the bond between them strengthening. They moved in harmony, combining human ingenuity with alien knowledge. Lyra occasionally pointed out hidden dangers, tiny predator creatures lurking nearby, unstable ground, and poisonous plants. Alex listened carefully, absorbing everything he could. He realized that this was not just a mission to recover clothes, but a lesson in understanding an entirely different ecosystem. Finally, they were ready. Alex gave a quiet signal, and Lyra released the glowing fruit into the clearing. Almost immediately, the mischievous creatures were drawn to it, leaving their scattered treasures behind. They approached the fruit cautiously, sniffing and pawing at it. Alex and Lyra sprang into action, using the nets and enclosures they had prepared. The creatures moved quickly, but the traps worked as intended. One by one, they were gently guided into the temporary holding area. None were harmed, but all were contained safely. Lyra clapped her hands softly, a sound of delight that echoed through the glowing forest. It worked. Your plan was successful, human. I am impressed by your quick thinking and careful approach. Alex smiled, feeling a mix of relief and pride. We make a good team. It's amazing what we can do when we combine knowledge and observation. Lyra nodded. Indeed, and this is only the beginning. The forest has many secrets, and there are challenges that even my people cannot face alone. Perhaps together, we can restore balance and learn from one another. As they moved to relocate the creatures, Alex took note of the surrounding area. He saw evidence of the invasive species' impact, plants damaged, smaller creatures displaced, and signs of struggle throughout the forest. It was clear that the problem was larger than he had first imagined. Lyra explained that these creatures had arrived unexpectedly, likely from another part of the galaxy, and had no natural predators here. Their rapid multiplication threatened to disrupt the delicate balance of the forest. Humans, with their creativity and resourcefulness, could provide solutions that her people had not considered. Alex felt a sense of responsibility. He had always wanted to explore new worlds, but now he realized that exploration came with the duty to protect and preserve. We need to act carefully, he said. If we can find where they came from, we might prevent more problems in the future. Lyra agreed. Yes, your logic is sound. We will observe and study, then act decisively. I have learned much from you already, and I hope to teach you more about this world as well. They worked together for hours, moving the creatures to a safer part of the forest where they could live without harming the native species. Alex was amazed by Lyra's knowledge and her gentle way of handling the creatures. He realized that intelligence and kindness were not unique to humans. They existed in every form of life that respected the balance of the world. As evening approached, they returned to the clearing where they had rested the night before. Lyra examined the remaining tracks and debris, ensuring that no creatures had escaped. Alex helped her collect fallen fruits and other resources to replenish the forest floor. This place is incredible, Alex said, looking around at the glowing trees and shimmering plants. I've never seen anything like it. Lyra smiled. It is home, and soon it may be safer thanks to your help. Your presence has brought new hope to my people and to the forest itself." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. Humans were often seen as fragile or reckless, but here, on Zerathia, he felt the truth of what humanity could offer: intelligence, courage, and compassion. He had come to explore, but he had also come to protect, and in doing so, he had proven that humans could make a difference anywhere in the universe. As night fell, the forest glowed brighter than ever. Tiny creatures floated in the air, and the soft hum of life surrounded them. Alex and Lyra sat together, sharing stories of their worlds and experiences. He told her about Earth, about humanity's triumphs and mistakes, and she shared the history of her people and the secrets of the forest. By the time they settled to sleep, Alex felt a deep connection, not just with Lyra but with the forest itself. He understood that exploration was more than discovery. It was about respect, understanding, and partnership. Tomorrow they would face new challenges, perhaps even dangers, but he was ready. For the first time, Alex felt that being human was not just about surviving. It was about thriving, helping, and inspiring. And somewhere in the glowing forest, Lyra looked at him with trust and admiration, knowing that together they could face whatever Zerathia had in store. The following morning, Alex woke to the gentle glow of Zerathia's forest, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Yesterday's success in helping Lyra recover her clothes and relocating the mischievous creatures had given him confidence, but he also sensed that the forest held deeper challenges. He stretched and looked around the glowing canopy, noting how the delicate light painted the forest floor in soft hues. Birds, or their alien equivalents, chirped from high branches, and small, floating creatures darted overhead, leaving trails of shimmering light in their wake. Lyra was already awake, moving gracefully among the ferns and collecting glowing fruits for their breakfast. Her eyes, reflecting the soft bioluminescence, scanned the forest carefully, alert to even the slightest movement. When she noticed Alex stirring, she smiled. "Good morning," she said softly. "Today will be important. I fear that what we dealt with yesterday is only a small part of the forest's problems." Alex nodded, taking a bite of one of the small glowing fruits. Its sweetness filled him with energy. "What do you mean?" he asked. Lyra gestured to the forest ahead. "There are disturbances deeper within. I have seen signs of creatures larger than the ones we encountered, creatures that consume not just food, but the very life of this forest. They have arrived unexpectedly, and my people have not been able to stop them. I fear that if we do not act, much of this land could be destroyed." Alex's heart quickened. He had faced challenges before, but this felt bigger. "Then we need to find them," he said. "We need to understand what we're dealing with before it's too late." Lyra nodded. "Yes, and we must proceed with caution. These creatures are clever and dangerous, though not invincible. If we work together, perhaps we can find a solution." They set out, moving carefully through the glowing forest. The path grew narrower, and the air felt heavier, filled with the scent of strange flowers and damp earth. Alex noticed the forest seemed quieter, the gentle hum of life subdued as if it sensed danger. Small tracks in the soft moss indicated that something larger had passed through recently, disturbing the smaller creatures. Alex crouched to examine the tracks. "These are big," he said, "much bigger than the ones we handled yesterday. They must be the source of the forest's disturbance." Lyra nodded gravely. "Yes, and they are intelligent. They do not attack for food alone, they disrupt the balance intentionally. We must find their lair and understand their motives." They followed the tracks deeper into the forest, where the glowing plants became taller and the canopy thicker, allowing only slivers of light to reach the forest floor. Strange sounds echoed around them, distant roars, rustling leaves, and the occasional shriek of unseen creatures. Alex's senses were on high alert, but he also felt a growing excitement. This was the adventure he had dreamed of, and he was determined to face it with courage and skill. After several hours, they arrived at a clearing. In its center stood a massive tree, unlike any Alex had seen. Its trunk was wide and twisted, its bark glowing faintly in shades of blue and green. Around its base, smaller plants were withered, and the ground was scarred as if something powerful had passed through. From the shadows, they glimpsed the creatures, tall, sinewy beings with sharp claws and eyes that glowed with a faint red light. They moved with precision, collecting resources from the forest and ignoring the smaller animals. Lyra stepped closer, speaking in a low, urgent tone. "These are the ones causing the most harm. They are intelligent and they have no natural fear of humans or my people. We must be careful. We cannot confront them directly, or they may retaliate with devastating force." Alex studied the creatures. They were strong, but their movements revealed patterns, repetitive behaviors, predictable paths, and moments of distraction. "We can outsmart them," he whispered. "We need a plan that uses their habits against them, not brute force." Lyra nodded slowly. "Your reasoning is sound. My people have tried strength and magic, but these creatures adapt quickly. Perhaps your human ingenuity can succeed where others have failed." Together they observed the creatures for hours, noting every detail, their routines, how they interacted with each other, and how they treated the forest around them. Alex sketched diagrams in the dirt with a stick, showing the creatures' paths and identifying weak points. He suggested traps that would redirect their movements, isolate individuals, and guide them toward a safer part of the forest where they could no longer harm the ecosystem. Lyra watched, impressed. "Humans think differently," she said quietly. "You do not rely solely on strength or speed. You analyze, predict, and adapt. I see why your kind has survived and thrived across so many worlds." Alex felt a surge of pride but stayed focused. "We need to act quickly. Once we understand their patterns, we can set our plan in motion before they change behavior." They spent the rest of the day preparing. Using vines, glowing fruits, and natural materials, they created clever traps and guiding pathways. Alex's plan relied on observation and timing, using the creatures' intelligence against them without causing harm. Lyra contributed her knowledge of the forest, ensuring that the plan would be safe for the native creatures and plants. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows through the thick canopy, they were ready. Alex and Lyra took their positions, hidden among the glowing ferns, and waited. The creatures appeared as expected, moving along the paths they had predicted. Alex signaled to Lyra, and together they activated the traps, guiding the creatures toward the safe enclosures they had prepared. The creatures reacted quickly but not aggressively. They followed the paths, drawn by glowing fruits and guided by subtle movements Alex and Lyra had arranged. One by one they were redirected, their disruptive behavior contained without harm. Lyra let out a soft sigh of relief. "It worked. Your plan succeeded, human. I am amazed at how quickly you understood and adapted to this world." Alex smiled, feeling both relief and excitement. "We make a great team. It's amazing what we can do when we combine knowledge, observation, and patience." They spent the next several hours ensuring that all creatures were safely guided, repairing minor damage to the forest along the way. Alex marveled at the balance between intelligence and nature in Zarathia. Everything here seemed interconnected, and even the smallest action could have far-reaching consequences. As night fell, the forest glowed more brightly than ever. Tiny creatures floated like stars, and the soft hum of life filled the air. Alex and Lyra set up a small camp near the clearing, using natural materials for shelter. They shared food, resting and reflecting on the day's events. Lyra spoke softly. "You have taught me something, human. Courage is not enough. It is intelligence, creativity, and careful planning that protect life. You have shown that humans can solve problems that others cannot." Alex nodded. "I've learned a lot too. Your world is incredible, and it's clear that every creature, every plant matters. Humans often overlook such details, but here they are everything. They talked late into the night, sharing stories of their worlds. Alex described Earth, its cities, oceans, and forests, and Lyra listened with fascination. She shared the history of her people and the deep bond they had with the forest. Through their conversation, Alex realized that understanding and respect were just as important as action. Before sleep claimed them, Alex looked around at the glowing forest. He knew that challenges still lay ahead, larger threats, unexpected dangers, and the mysteries of Zerathia that were yet to be uncovered. But he also knew that with intelligence, courage, and cooperation, humans could face anything. Lyra rested nearby, her presence a comforting reminder of the bond they had forged. She had begun to see humans not as fragile creatures, but as beings capable of great ingenuity and heart. Alex, in turn, had learned that exploration was more than seeing new places. It was understanding them, protecting them, and forming connections that transcended worlds. As he drifted into sleep beneath the soft glow of the alien forest, Alex felt a deep sense of purpose. He had not just survived another day on Zerathia. He had contributed, helped, and proven the strength of humanity. And somewhere in the forest, Lyra watched over him, knowing that together they could face whatever the universe placed in their path. The next day, Alex awoke to the soft glow of Zerathia's forest, feeling a mixture of excitement and unease. The forest had seemed calm the night before, but he knew that appearances could be deceiving. Lyra had spoken of even greater dangers deeper within the forest, and today they would venture further than ever before. The events of the past days had prepared him, but he knew that the real test of his skills and courage was about to come. Lyra was already awake, moving gracefully among the glowing plants. Her eyes, reflecting the forest's soft light, scanned the surroundings with alert precision. She noticed Alex rising and offered a small smile. "Today will challenge us more than before," she said. "We will face the creatures that threaten the balance of this forest. They are intelligent, organized, and relentless, but together we may find a way to protect this land." Alex nodded. "Then let's get started. I'm ready." They packed their supplies and set out, moving carefully through the forest. The path grew darker and denser, with towering trees whose glowing leaves barely allowed light to reach the ground. The sounds of the forest changed. Soft rustles became sharp snaps, distant cries echoed through the trees, and the air was thick with tension. Alex felt his senses heighten, alert to every movement, every sound. He noticed subtle changes in the environment, broken branches, flattened plants, and small animals scurrying away. The signs of disturbance were clear. As they moved deeper, Lyra explained more about the creatures they were about to face. "These beings are unlike the ones we have contained before," she said. "They act in groups, communicate with one another, and destroy not for food but to disrupt the forest. They are clever and they learn quickly. We must use intelligence and caution, or we risk failure." Alex listened carefully, considering the information. His mind raced with ideas and strategies. Humans were known for problem-solving and ingenuity, and he intended to apply those skills fully. "Then we need to observe them first, understand their patterns, and then act," he said. Lyra nodded. "Precisely. Let us move quietly. We must not alert them to our presence until we are ready." For hours, they followed the trail of the creatures, staying hidden among the ferns and glowing undergrowth. Alex observed their movements, noting their coordination and communication. The creatures moved quickly and efficiently, often splitting into groups and covering different parts of the forest. Alex realized that direct confrontation would be dangerous. The solution had to rely on cleverness, timing, and patience. Finally, they reached a massive clearing. At its center stood a large structure made of intertwined branches, leaves, and glowing vines, a nest or lair of the creatures. Around it, the forest bore the marks of their destructive behavior: trampled plants, scattered resources, and frightened smaller animals. The sight filled Alex with determination. He could not allow this destruction to continue. Lyra whispered, "This is their stronghold. If we can disrupt their activity here, we may be able to restore balance to the forest, but we must proceed carefully. They are not only strong but intelligent. They may anticipate direct actions." Alex thought for a moment, then suggested a plan. "We can use their own habits against them. They are curious and drawn to light and movement. If we create a controlled distraction and guide them into a safe enclosure, we can neutralize the threat without harming them." Lyra's eyes widened slightly. "It is a bold plan, human. It requires precise timing and observation. If we fail, the consequences could be severe." "Are you certain you are prepared?" Alex nodded firmly. "I am. We've done similar things before, and I have learned from those experiences. We can succeed." They began setting their plan into motion. Using vines, glowing fruits, and natural materials from the forest, they constructed guiding pathways and temporary enclosures. Alex used his human ingenuity to fashion mechanisms that would redirect the creatures without causing them harm. Lyra provided advice on placement, timing, and ensuring the safety of the native plants and animals. As they worked, Alex and Lyra shared ideas and strategies, learning from each other. Alex realized that humans and Lyra's people approached problems differently, but together, their strengths complemented one another perfectly. He admired her deep understanding of the forest and its delicate balance, while Lyra grew increasingly impressed by Alex's quick thinking, adaptability, and courage. By late afternoon, the preparations were complete. Alex and Lyra moved into hiding, taking positions near the edges of the clearing. The creatures began to emerge from their lair, moving with coordinated precision. Alex and Lyra observed their behavior closely, waiting for the right moment to act. "Now," Alex whispered, and he activated a small mechanism that released glowing fruits along the guiding path. The creatures noticed immediately, their curiosity piqued. They approached the fruits cautiously, following the trail that Alex and Lyra had created. The plan worked perfectly. The creatures moved along the path, guided by the fruits and subtle cues, unaware of the enclosures waiting for them. Alex and Lyra adjusted the pathways as needed, ensuring that no creature escaped. One by one, they were guided into the safe enclosures where they could live without harming the forest. Lyra let out a quiet sigh of relief. "It is done," she said. "Your plan has succeeded, human. You have saved the forest from destruction." Alex smiled, feeling a mix of exhaustion and triumph. "We did it together. Your knowledge and guidance made this possible." They spent the next several hours ensuring the creatures were secure, repairing minor damage to the forest, and observing the remaining wildlife. The forest, once threatened by the creatures' destruction, began to show signs of recovery. Plants that had been trampled started to stand, and small animals cautiously returned to the area. Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes glowing softly. "I have never seen anyone think and act like you. Humans are capable of great ingenuity and courage. You have shown me that your kind can protect and restore life, even in the most challenging circumstances." Alex felt a surge of pride. Humans often underestimated themselves, but here, on an alien world, he had proven the value of intelligence, creativity, and moral courage. "We all have the ability to make a difference," he said. "We just have to try." As night fell, the forest transformed. The bioluminescent plants glowed more brightly, creating a magical landscape. Tiny creatures floated in the air, leaving trails of light, and the soft hum of life filled every corner. Alex and Lyra set up a small camp near the clearing, using natural materials for shelter. They shared food, resting after a long and challenging day. Lyra spoke softly, reflecting on the events. "You have taught me that courage alone is not enough. One must combine intelligence, creativity, and careful observation to succeed. Humans are capable of great achievements." Alex nodded, And I've learned that understanding and respecting the world around you is just as important as action. Your forest is incredible, and every creature, every plant matters. I will do everything I can to protect it." They talked late into the night, sharing stories of Earth and Zerathia, discussing challenges, victories, and lessons learned. Alex realized that exploration was not just about discovering new worlds. It was about understanding them, protecting them, and forming bonds that transcended species. Before sleep claimed them, Alex looked around at the glowing forest. He knew that challenges still lay ahead, but he also knew that with intelligence, courage, and cooperation, humans could face anything. He had not only survived but had made a meaningful difference, proving that humanity's ingenuity and heart could shine across the stars. Lyra rested nearby, her presence a comforting reminder of the bond they had forged. She had come to see humans as capable, intelligent, and compassionate beings, and Alex had learned that courage, careful observation, and respect were as important as strength. As he drifted into sleep beneath Zerathia's glowing canopy, Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The major threat to the forest had been contained, the creatures redirected without harm, and the balance of life restored, at least for now. He knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, perhaps even greater dangers, but he was ready. Humans could thrive even in the unknown, and Alex was determined to continue proving that humanity could rise to any occasion. Somewhere in the forest, Lyra watched him with admiration and trust. She knew that together they could face whatever lay ahead, and that the strength of humans, courage, intelligence, and ingenuity, was a force even the alien creatures of Zerathia could respect. The forest of Zerathia glowed with an ethereal light as dawn broke over the canopy. Alex awoke feeling a mix of anticipation and determination. The major threat had been contained yesterday, but he knew that the forest was far from completely safe. There were still mysteries to uncover, creatures to understand, and challenges to overcome. But for the first time, he felt that humans could truly make a difference in this alien world. Lyra was already awake, moving gracefully among the glowing plants. She had spent the night observing the forest, ensuring that all the creatures they had guided the day before remained in their new safe areas. Her glowing eyes met Alex's and she smiled. "Good morning, human. The forest seems calmer today, but there is more work to do. We must ensure that this balance is maintained and that no further disturbances threaten the life here." Alex nodded, stretching and checking his pack. "I'm ready. We've done a lot already, but there's always more to learn. Let's make sure the forest stays safe." They moved together through the glowing trees, following paths Alex had begun mapping the previous day. The forest seemed to welcome their presence, with small creatures emerging cautiously from their hiding places and flowers opening as they passed. Every step revealed more of Zerathia's beauty and complexity, and Alex marveled at the delicate balance of life around him. As they walked, Lyra explained the next phase of their plan. "We must teach the creatures to avoid areas where they could harm the forest. We cannot simply contain them forever. They must learn boundaries and coexist with the native wildlife. This requires patience, strategy, and intelligence." Alex listened carefully. "We'll need to understand their habits completely and predict how they will behave. Then we can guide them without force." Lyra nodded approvingly. "Exactly, and I believe your human creativity and adaptability will be essential. You see solutions that are not obvious and you act with care and precision." They spent the morning observing the creatures from a distance. Alex took notes in a small notebook, sketching diagrams of their movements and behaviors. He noticed patterns in how the creatures gathered food, explored the forest, and interacted with one another. Lyra added insights from her people's long experience with the forest, explaining the subtle cues and signals the creatures used to communicate. By midday, they had developed a plan to guide the creatures permanently to areas where they could live without causing harm. Alex designed a series of gentle barriers using vines, glowing fruits, and reflective materials. The creatures, curious and intelligent, would naturally follow the paths created, learning to avoid sensitive areas while still having access to food and shelter. Lyra watched him as he worked. "Humans are remarkable," she said softly. "You combine observation, intuition, and action in a way that can change the course of events. I have learned much from you already, and I hope to continue learning." Alex smiled, feeling both proud and humbled. "And I've learned that understanding a world fully requires patience and respect. Your forest is alive in ways I've never seen before. Every action matters." They began setting the plan in motion, carefully arranging the guiding paths and barriers. The creatures emerged from their hiding places, moving cautiously but inevitably drawn to the glowing fruits and reflective surfaces. Alex and Lyra observed quietly, adjusting the paths as needed. The creatures followed the guidance without panic or resistance, and the forest slowly began to show signs of recovery. Lyra clapped softly when the last of the creatures had settled into the designated areas. "It is done," she said. "The forest is safe, and the creatures have learned their boundaries. You have not only contained the threat but also restored balance. Your human ingenuity has saved this land." Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Humans were often underestimated, yet here he had proven that intelligence, courage, and careful action could make a real difference. "We did it together," he said. "Your guidance and knowledge were just as important as my ideas." As they walked through the clearing, Alex noticed that the forest was alive in a way it hadn't been before. Plants stood taller, flowers opened more fully, and small animals cautiously returned to their homes. Even the light seemed brighter, reflecting the restored harmony of the ecosystem. Lyra turned to him, her eyes glowing softly. "I have never seen anything like this. Humans have the ability to solve problems, create harmony, and inspire others. Your actions today will be remembered by my people. You have proven that humanity is not only capable of exploration, but also of protection and restoration." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "It's amazing what we can do when we work together. This forest is incredible, and I'm glad we were able to help." They spent the afternoon repairing minor damage and observing the creature's behavior. Alex took careful notes, documenting patterns, solutions, and lessons learned. He realized that every step he had taken had a purpose, every observation mattered, and every action could shape the future of Zarathia. As evening approached, the forest glowed more brightly than ever. Tiny creatures floated in the air like stars, and the gentle hum of life filled every corner. Alex and Lyra set up a small camp near the clearing, using natural materials for shelter. They shared food, resting after a long and challenging day. Lyra spoke softly, reflecting on the events. "You have taught me that courage alone is not enough. Intelligence, creativity, and careful observation are what truly protect life. Humans possess these qualities, and I see now why your kind has survived across so many worlds." Alex nodded. "And I've learned that respect and understanding are as important as action. This forest is full of life and everything matters. We can protect it only if we see and value every part of it." As night fell, the forest transformed into a magical landscape. The glowing plants shone brightly, tiny creatures floated in the air, and the soft hum of life filled every corner. Alex and Lyra sat together, sharing stories of Earth and Zarathia, discussing victories, challenges, and lessons learned. Alex realized that exploration was not just about discovering new worlds. It was about understanding them, protecting them, and forming bonds that transcended species. He had come to Zarathia as an explorer, but he would leave as a guardian. By midnight, they had finished documenting all the observations, ensuring that the forest would remain safe. Alex looked around at the glowing canopy, feeling a deep connection to this alien world. He had proven that humans were capable of intelligence, courage, and compassion, even in the most challenging circumstances. Lyra rested nearby, her presence a comforting reminder of the bond they had forged. She had come to see humans as capable, intelligent, and compassionate beings, and Alex had learned that careful planning, observation, and respect were just as important as courage. Before sleep claimed them, Lyra spoke again. "Your actions will be remembered, human. My people will tell stories of how a human came to Zerathia, understood its challenges, and restored harmony. You have shown us the true strength of your kind." Alex felt a profound sense of pride. Humanity was often underestimated, but here, on Zerathia, he had proven that humans could think, adapt, and protect life in ways that were truly remarkable. "And I've learned that courage and kindness are powerful tools," he said. "With them, humans can make a real difference anywhere." The forest glowed softly as Alex drifted into sleep, feeling the calm and balance of Zerathia surround him. He knew that challenges would arise again, that new discoveries awaited, and that the unknown always held surprises. But he also knew that humans, with their ingenuity, courage, and compassion, could face anything. Somewhere in the forest, Lyra watched him with trust and admiration. Together, they had restored balance, saved creatures, and protected a world that was not their own. She knew that humanity's qualities, intelligence, adaptability, and heart, were forces that could shine across the stars. As the first light of a new day touched the glowing canopy, Alex felt a deep sense of purpose. He had not only explored a new world but had contributed to its protection and preservation. Zerathia had become a part of him, and he had become a part of it. And somewhere in the distance, the creatures they had guided moved safely, unaware that their lives had been changed by the courage and ingenuity of a single human. Lyra smiled, knowing that the bond between their worlds had been strengthened. Humanity had proven itself once again, brave, clever, and compassionate. And Alex, lying beneath the gentle glow of Zerathia's forest, knew that this was only the beginning of a story that would inspire generations, showing that humans could rise to any challenge, protect life, and shine brightly even among the stars.